This is what a baby does. This Edwin Lewis does. Every day, when it's not time. He went down.
First told me about this, I watched my wife go through everything. Right. She tried to kick me in the head once for trying to remove her hair for it.
Where you going? He's dead. The bathroom.